Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Friends You Can Keep podcast. It's been a while. 2 weeks?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think 2 weeks. Well, I can tell you, it was the 20th.
Oh, yeah, it was my birthday.
Was the last episode that went out.
Mm-hmm.
We are now well past Memorial Day, which I think we all signify as the beginning of summer.
Yeah, I think so.
And I was a little behind, so I just didn't think of it. But every year we do the Friends You Can Keep songs of the summer.
Oh, I was not consulted on these, so I don't know.
Do you have any in mind off the top of your head? Because I didn't really think about it either until I was writing down notes for this, and I'm like, oh shit, we should probably do that.
Yeah, that Cranberries cover. Oh shoot, what's the song called?
Zombie?
Foolish.
Oh. I didn't care for it.
Is that what it's called?
Look it up.
That's not what it's called.
There was some TikTok cover that she found of the Cranberries.
It's actually not. It's from his Apple session.
I don't know. It was on TikTok when he sent it to me.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it.
I love it.
Did you see my Instagram story? Because Jeremy had up that thing about, like, go on the Instagram
Linger.
music. Linger. There it is. The Instagram music, and type in the year you were born, and that's the song you got.
Oh, no.
I got Dreams by the Cranberries. I'm pretty sure that's what that song is called. I wonder what yours is. I'm surprised you didn't see it.
Where do I go?
So you go, like, you're going to post a story on Instagram. And just, like, take a picture, like you're going to post a story or whatever.
Okay.
And
then
then
go to music?
the music and just type in the year you were born. Bless you.
Oh. I didn't want that to go into the microphone. Danger Zone from Top Gun.
Oh. Highway to the danger zone. Was it called Dreams? Not Fleetwood Mac. Ooh, there's an acoustic
Dreams
version.
by the Cranberries.
Here, I'll tell you. Where's the chorus?
I think I only know Foolish and Zombie.
No, you know this song.
Oh, uh-huh. Oh, my love. Yeah, uh-huh. It's changing every day. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the song I got.
Fun.
When you type in 1993 into the...
Those songs probably didn't come out the year I was born, though. Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi.
Probably. I'm pretty sure Top Gun came out in 1986.
Really? 1986, wow.
Told you.
Oh.
Yeah, they know.
Well, I just thought, like, because that's just going off of, like, it's not like a scientific thing. It's just, like...
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, it's close.
If you're going off a scientific thing, then, like, mine would have been either I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston or A Whole New World. Like, because those two songs were both number one in 1993 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah. Right, like, so I was like, is it just getting close?
And I know that because I gotta look that up now. It's gonna bother me. Because one of them is my birthday and one of them was, like, number one the week before I was born, and then it changed the week I was born.
I do not remember mine. I think it's a Whitney Houston song, but it's...
Number one song, May 20th,
1986. I already said it.
Oh, I didn't realize you did. Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston was the number one song on May 20th, 1986. Number one song.
I think yours is I Will Always Love You. You just missed.
March 7th, 1993. That's not right.
What's it saying?
According to Birthday Jams, which is where I got yours from, it was Informer by Snow was the number one song.
Informer.
But then when you go on the Wikipedia for a list of Billboard Hot 100 number ones of 1993. That's January. So from... Oh, yeah, I guess. Well, no. So on their chart history, from January 2nd to the end of February, it was I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
Oh.
And then this just says March 6th, A Whole New World, Peebo Bryson and Regina Belle. And then March 13th was Informer.
Oh.
But the list we looked at before, whenever we did this, God knows how long ago, mine was A Whole New World.
But I think there was a special spot where you went.
No, it was like an article on Facebook, or I forget what it was.
But it was like a special list.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty sure it was a Facebook thing that had like, and you just scrolled through. Like here, I'll look it up. Number one songs.
March 7th, 1993 was Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
This Day in Music. What was the number one record on the day you were born? Select your birthday. So we'll do 7 March 1993. Oh, this is a UK thing. It has to be. Because this is Unlimited by Too Unlimited by No Limit. Snow by Informer in the US, according to this thing.
Oh.
I don't know. Whatever the article was we looked up before, it was...
I Will Always Love You. According to Google AI, it's I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
Now, see, I'm pretty sure mine was A Whole New World.
No.
And a week prior, because that's what the Wikipedia said, March 6th was A Whole New World, which would lead me to believe that March 7th was also A Whole New World.
Oh.
But a week, if I would have been born a week earlier, it would have been or I Will Always Love You. But regardless, I have 6.
Well, you can only have one.
No. Songs, plural.
Yeah, you usually pick one.
Songs of the summer. Songs. Plural.
Yeah, but you usually pick one. These are all going to be no.
No, they're not. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
I don't know why you like her so much.
I don't know that I like her. I like that song. I couldn't tell you another song by her at all. I only know that song.
I don't even really remember that one.
You know that song.
It's a little too corny, I think, isn't it?
Maybe it's a little too corny.
Aren't some of the lyrics funny?
Oh,
You can only play like 3 seconds, you know.
No, you just don't get monetized. They won't pull it. You just don't get paid for it.
Oh, I thought they'll pull it.
Well, some things will get pulled, but that's more like your Disneys and stuff like that are really... But...
Maybe it's longer than that. Maybe you play 20 seconds.
It was definitely... I played...
No, it wasn't that long. But maybe you can play.
That's also false. because I forget what I looked up that said it's a myth that you can play like, some people say 10, some people say 20, some people say 30, but it's a myth that you can play that much and it's not a problem. Like, the law, most places, according to the thing I saw, most people do follow that rule. Like, they will allow you whatever snippet of time. But according to the law, you could play half a second of a song and the company or the artist or whoever can choose to have your video pulled or have your whatever pulled. Too Sweet by Hozier? I don't know how you pronounce it. Sure. I feel like that's probably not
Is that the one where I said it sounds like Sam Smith?
Yes.
I like that one a lot.
I take my whiskey neat, my coffee black.
Yeah.
3.
I like that one a lot.
The Flow by Barry and the Fountains. I'm putting this on here because I don't know if it's new. Those two are newer. This is a song that there was a hot second where Instagram was doing really good. And in my stories, I would get ads for artists.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. And it was really good, and I liked it a lot. That's not what I wanted. Let me see if I can find it. Play a snippet of that. Because this is a guy I'd never heard. Before seeing the Instagram ad. Oh, I know you're in here. Where the hell are you? There it is. I'll fast forward.
Oh, it sounded like it was going to be different.
Well, if I jump to the middle of the song.
Sounds like John Legend. A little bit. No.
I don't think so. Not at all. I mean, I love John Legend, but...
Okay.
I don't like that Apple Music puts the little play pause thing, like it disappears, and they made it a lot harder for you to like get it back. The Best by Nicotine Dolls, which I know is not a new song, but I discovered it this year. It's that cover, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I didn't like it.
What?
I didn't like it.
That guy from TikTok.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
His cover of The Best by...
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I like the guy from Schitt's Creek's better.
Oh, see, I love Noah Reed's. But that is...
Yeah,
I love his cover of that song.
I like his voice a lot. It's very raspy. That cover was just not for me. I think, like, some songs sound fun when he does them, but that one I was like, I don't know, this one just doesn't sound right.
Mm.
I think because it's very, like, desperate sounded. But he does have a good voice. It just sounded, and maybe it was just when I was listening to it, it just sounded like very, like,
the first time I heard this,
sounding.
I think it came up in, like, I was listening to the new music mix on Apple Music at one point. Mm-hmm. I do every now and then, and the one day I listened to it, I think that was in there. That was one of those songs I heard, and when I heard it, I had the thought of, like, this might be on my list of covers that are better than the original.
Oh, I like the original, though.
So I'm not saying I don't, but I love that version, the Nicotine Dolls version of that song. I love. Dilemma by Green Day, which is one of their newer ones that you may not have heard. Do you listen to, like, newer Green Day?
No. I don't even really listen to older Green Day. Like, I like it, but it just doesn't come up a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have heard this one.
I don't give a fuck what anybody on the internet says. I've always liked Green Day.
I like them.
Green Day. They're going through this whole thing online right now. They're not, but, like, people online stuff that I've seen about their new stuff, and they sold out, and shit that I do not fucking care about. Like, just like music or don't. I've never understood. I mean, I get it, because the people that are doing it, it's their culture. Because it's that whole thing of, like, Green Day used to be punk, and they sold out, and they're not punk anymore. And then you've got people that were like, Green Day was never punk, and it's this whole fucking debate on, like, what punk truly is and what that genre means.
I think they were just, like, very mainstream.
Well, then I see people about,
they're like on the cusp, but who cares?
Well, the hilarious thing is, this really peaked when they did Rockin' New Year's Eve or whatever, and they did American Idiot, but they changed the words to be about Trump.
Oh.
And then people on the internet were like, oh, Green Day used to be so anti-establishment, and now they're so, like, inside the establishment. And it's like, if you think for a second that, like, what in your right mind told you Green Day would have liked Trump? Like,
yeah.
Like, what? Also, the hilarity of commenting that while they changed the lyrics to American Idiot. Like, are you aware of what that album was? And what that song specifically was? Like, if they sold out and they were truly, like, full establishment now, they wouldn't continue to sing songs off the American Idiot album.
They would probably be pro-Trump.
Well, that's the idea, is since they're pro-Biden.
But they all,
because that's the idea of the cult of Donald Trump, is Donald Trump is anti-establishment.
But he's not, because he's a politician. Say what you want, he is now.
Also, like, he was the president. He didn't win the popular vote, but he was the president. So it's a weird thing of, like, can you still be...
No!
Like, the anti-establishment when you were the establishment for 4 years? Like,
and you didn't do anything to make it any less establishment.
Like, you're sticking it to the man. He was the man for 4 years.
Right. Oh, I'm really going to stick it to the man. Yourself?
Did you see... Probably not. I sent it to you on TikTok.
Today?
Yes, we'll have to watch it when this is done recording. And the one I saw was not the original. Thank Christ. I do not need that in my feed. It's a girl. Never saw her before, don't know her channel. Where she falls politically, don't know, don't care. And it just opens up with, like, this is... You cannot... And I get so many of these where it's just clips and different shit involving Trump and his followers. And then it's like, you cannot tell me this is not a cult. And then it goes into this song. That is... I thought it was AI. I 1,000%...
Oh, the Chosen One?
Yes.
I already heard it.
I 1,000% thought it was an AI, like, this is bullshit.
No.
But then looking through the comments, realizing it's not. And I texted it, so I sent it to you on TikTok with the text I put, what period, the period, actual period, fuck, and then question mark. Because I heard it, and I'm like, legitimately, that was my thought. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's not great.
Well, and tons of people were commenting, like, does anyone else feel like it's blasphemous to call him the Chosen One? Yeah.
So the video that I saw was actually someone saying, like, this is the golden calf. And what are you doing?
Well, there was another woman that commented that she's a devout Christian. I forget what her opening was. And she's like, I remember going to church. Or she's like, I go to church and they all talk about, like, all the pastors and priests, all they talk about is, like, how people will follow the Antichrist. And I always wondered, like, what does that look like? Like, how will we know? And it's like, I have the answer. It's this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's fucking wild. And I commented on the video that I sent to you. And I was like, this is the kind of shit that legitimately scares me. Like, there's not a lot that I'm really just like, whatever. I'm fucking over this. I'm done with this cult bullshit.
Well...
You were found guilty of 37 counts or whatever. 34 counts of fucking all kinds of shit in New York City. You should no longer be allowed to run for president, but that's a different side of the story. You're under investigation for possibly trying to overthrow the government. You should not be allowed to run for president. Whether you're guilty of that or not is beside the point.
Yeah.
You're under investigation for it, and somehow you are the Republican candidate for president. Jesus fucking Christ. What's happening in this country?
Because people think it's so cool to like him. It makes you look so cool. It's like smoking. Oh, it makes you look so cool. No, it makes you look like a douchebag.
Well, it's not just the people. It's also people in the Republican Party.
Because they have no backbone.
Well, because he's a gangster. He's a wannabe mobster. Because his whole thing is, either you support me or I will ruin your career.
Yeah.
And I will ruin your life.
And the scary thing is he probably has the material to do it.
Oh, he does. He's done it. He's done it with people that have worked for him when he was president. Look at all the people that when, like, he stopped being president or when he was being fucking, what's the word? Impeached. All the people who just fucking fell on the knife for him. But then anybody that came out and said, like, working here is a nightmare. This is horrible. It's like the next day. Nope, you're done. And look at fucking...
Mike Pence?
Well, Mike Pence is a big one. Because he refused to overturn the election. Even though he's like, I can't do that.
Right.
Which is my favorite.
That was my favorite thing.
My absolute favorite thing. I do not like Mike Pence. There's nothing to like about Mike Pence. But when he did that interview where they asked him about it, and he was like, I can't do that. That's not I'm constitutionally not allowed to do that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was so good.
And he was like so annoyed by it, but like he said it so calmly. Like, I am here to count the votes and make sure that the votes are counted like however.
Well, this was after the fact. I'm talking about after the fact when he did the interview.
Yeah, because they were saying like...
Because they flat out asked him, like, why did you overturn the election?
And he said, like, my job is to do this.
It was him campaigning. It was when he was running for president again.
Sir.
Well, he does not anymore, but he was campaigning, and it was at one of his campaign things that a Trump
How are you going to run for president when you can't be in a room alone with a woman?
A Trump supporter asked him, why didn't you overturn the election? And he was very much like, because I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, despite what my former president and running mate has told you, that's not...
Well, you're so rock hard for the Constitution, all of them.
I can't do
You should know that.
They're only rock hard for the Constitution when it fits their needs.
Yeah, they're cafeteria Americans.
We're rock hard for the Second Amendment, even though you don't have a clue what the Second Amendment actually
Right, you didn't
means.
read the whole thing. Oh, well, they also...
Well, you read it, but all you read was, we have the right to bear arms. But you don't take into consideration that shit was fucking written when the only gun that existed was a goddamn musket.
But it also says in the, like...
And it was for you to arm yourself as a nation to uprise against your government. Like... Not, I can have these.
Yeah.
The Second Amendment does not say you can just have this shit.
They play fast and loose with the First Amendment, too, because they forget that hate speech isn't
They play fast
protected.
and loose with all of it.
Well, they just ignore that part. It's call them
different than the Bible.
You're called a cafeteria Catholic. If you take a little bit from here and a little bit from here and a little... That's what they're doing.
Well, they're doing it with both.
Well, no, they're not Catholic.
Well, no, they're Christians.
Because
I'm pro-life because of Jesus. I don't like gay people because of Jesus. I don't like...
Well, you're not pro-life.
Whoever because of Jesus.
You're anti-abortion.
I only like straight white people because of Jesus. That's their whole thing. Jesus didn't like the gays. God hates fags, all that nonsense. And it's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Show me your receipt.
I just saw that and I was like, this is the shit that legitimately...
Yeah, I saw that song.
Because this is the kind of delusional, like, how are you not hearing this? Like, every time I see any of, like, because I get a lot of the videos of comedians or, like, prank people that go to Trump rallies, and it's them, like...
Yeah, asking questions.
Duping Trump supporters. And, like, they say shit. That song, I'm just like, how are you not...
Because they only...
Like, how are you not comprehending what's happening?
They only surround themselves with people who agree with them.
Well, and it's no different. I understand from watching all the documentaries we've watched about cults that, like, when you're in a cult, you don't realize you're in a cult.
No one joins a cult.
Yeah, but what they say. But once you're in, like, you're not...
Because you don't...
You're not cognizant to know that you're in a cult. But that's my point, is like... As someone on the outside, you just see it, and you're like, how do you not know you're in a cult?
Because they've done...
How do you how are you so pro-America, all about patriotism, red, white, and blue is the only color I see, all this bullshit. And then you fly a flag in front of your house that says, Trump 2024, take back America.
And or FJB.
Well, the fuck Joe Biden shit is beside the point. I mean, that's also horrendous. But like,
or the Trump things where it's like, no more bullshit. What's the point of that?
But again, even that is a more lenient thing. But like, to be so like pro-America, and then your flag is calling for one man.
Yeah.
Or like, save America 2024. And it's like, this is a weird... How are you not seeing how weird this is? And like, how did no one see how weird it was the second he lost the election and then immediately turned on Mike Pence, and then everyone involved in supporting him immediately turned on Mike Pence?
Well, because what he does...
Like, I legitimately drove to jobs where people had their Trump Pence, and they just took a fucking black Sharpie and just, like, Sharpied out Pence's name, where they put duct tape over it, and it's like...
But, like, what do you have your campaign flags out still for?
Well, it didn't have a year on it, so you can just keep that shit all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Not all of them.
Oh, I guess it's just like...
Most of them just said Trump Pence. And now it's Trump Pence, or now it's Trump 2024, save America, take America back, make votes count again.
Ew.
My favorite one, I only saw one, thank Christ, was make America straight again.
Oh, Lord.
I'm like, what the fuck is happening in this country? Jesus Christ. Well, I joked to my mom, like, so this year is the election. If he loses again, are we going to immediately see Trump 2028?
Absolutely.
Merchandise and flags flying.
For sure.
In the streets of rural/suburban Pennsylvania.
Definitely.
But the last one I have is the two most wanted. Beyonce and Miley Cyrus.
Oh, terrible. Oh my God. That might be the worst song I've ever heard. Oh.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, no. I won't listen to it again. I didn't even listen to the whole thing. I hated it.
I liked it.
Their voices sound awful together. Neither one of them sound bad on their own. Like, but I also don't really... I listened to her new album and I didn't listen to any of it, and that came... I don't remember that being on it, so I wonder if I didn't listen to the whole album.
That came up in my new music mix.
Yeah, no. It's a no. It's a weird mix.
The last little bit of music I will play. This is not a song of the summer. I just found it because I was searching. Our next bit of thing is we're going to do, as I discussed 2 weeks ago, another Am I the Asshole?
Oh, no.
What?
I don't like those.
We talked about it 2 weeks ago and you were fine with it.
I know. I just don't. I can never really pin down whether they're the asshole or not.
But there was a Reddit thread when I was on Reddit to look for ones. I also followed the music subreddit. And one of the posts that came up on my homepage was, what's a song that... Something like, what's a song that no matter when you hear it will emotionally devastate you?
Oh, that was a TikTok thing, too.
And the answer that they gave was, I Can't Make You Love Me.
Oh.
By Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
I went to search, I'm like, the title, it was one of those moments of like, I know the title, but for some reason I can't like picture the song in my head. I was not aware that this existed. It's old.
Is that Adele? This is a great song.
It's a fantastic song. Not that I don't like Bonnie Raitt's version, but there again, just like The Best by Nicotine Dolls, I think that's better than the original.
To Make Her Feel My Love, hers is better than the original.
Who is the original?
Billy Joel?
Is it? Or is it Bob Dylan?
Oh, shit. It's probably Bob Dylan.
But it's weird, because it's old Bob Dylan.
Oh, then did he cover it?
Let's look it up.
Garth Brooks also did it.
Because Garth Brooks sings it, Billy Joel sings it, Adele sings it, Bob Dylan sings it. Oh, when you look it up on Google, the one that comes up is Adele.
Yeah. Which I don't... Well, here, we can...
Make You Feel My Love. This says song by Adele, but when you look up original, the video that comes up is Bob Dylan.
Here we go. Written by Bob Dylan. In 1997. That's why it sounds like old Bob Dylan, because it is.
What the fuck are you doing?
It was first released commercially in 1997 by Billy Joel. It was written by Bob Dylan for his album, released in September. But it was first released...
Yeah. It's a song written by Bob Dylan for his album Time Out of Mind, released in September of 97. It was first released commercially in August of 97 by Billy Joel.
It was covered by Adele, Michael Bolton, Neil Diamond, Elkie Brooks, Boy George, Brian Ferry, Joan Osborne, Garth Brooks, Kelly Clarkson, Ben Platt, Nick Knowles, and Pink.
So this is one of those weird ones. Who else did this? Willie Nelson? What song is it? Crazy by Patsy Cline?
Yeah.
It's a weird one where, like...
They covered...
Willie wrote it, and it came out on his album after, like, she put it out.
Yeah. It was, like...
That's what this is.
Covered
Bob
the same
Dylan
year.
wrote it, and it was supposed to go on his album in September, but it was released a month earlier by Billy Joel on Billy Joel's album.
Weird.
Wasn't it the same? Isn't there a Beyonce? It was... If I Were a Boy? Is that the same thing, too? I think. We watched that video of, like, covers, songs you didn't know were covers.
Yeah.
And it talked about, like, oh, it came out the same year. Like, these two songs
It's like, no wonder
out.
I didn't know it was a cover.
Well, and it's always a weird, like... I'm pretty sure Crazy is one of them. Where it's a weird, like, Willie Nelson wrote it, he recorded it for his album. And then she sang it, recorded it, it came out on her album first.
Well, sometimes
like, it was a whole bunch of weird...
He wrote it, she recorded it, then he's like, shit, that's a good song. Then he records it.
Yeah, there was stuff like that, too. I remember that. But yeah, I found that Adele cover, and I liked it a lot. But and no offense to Bonnie Raitt, but I'll probably always say that the Adele version is better, because Adele is probably one of my top 5 artists of all time.
I like her, she's good.
If not a top 3. Like, I love Adele. Open up the old iPad here, see what we got. So I saved a bunch.
Oh, jeez. I don't want to do all those.
We're not going to do all. We didn't do all of them. Oh, we saved these before, and these are old ones. From a year ago. We can get rid of these. Unsaved. They're all Thanksgiving. We must have did this at Thanksgiving, because they're all Thanksgiving. Am I the asshole for ruining Thanksgiving?
Or just after.
Am I the asshole for making my family start Thanksgiving dinner without my sister? Am I the asshole for asking to spend every Christmas with my family since we spend every Thanksgiving with my husband's family? Yeah, we did this around the holidays last time, I guess, because they're all holiday related. So let's see. Here we go. This one's a bit topical. This is not an am I the asshole, it's would I be the asshole.
Oh.
Would I be the asshole if I refused to watch my mom's dog because she asked me after going on vacation? Excuse me. So for those of you who don't know, my parents go to the beach every weekend, and almost every weekend they ask us to take care of their cat. That's why when I saw that headline, I thought it was funny, because I have not read any of these. So my mother decided a week ago to go on a trip to India for a month all of a sudden. She lives with my grandma and has a dog, and I live over an hour away from them. Originally, she tried to pressure me into living there for a month instead of at my home with my partner and our pets. But I pushed back on that since I couldn't balance being there and work and my home/family. She found a solution where her boyfriend would stay at the house and watch my grandpa and her dog. Oh, I did say grandpa. I said grandma earlier.
Oh.
My bad. She's only been in India for a few days, and now she's telling me her boyfriend all of a sudden has a work trip for 4 days in a city 5 hours away, and is asking if I can go over and stay for a few nights and watch her dog. For context, I work a full-time job at a hybrid location, been there for less than 3 months, and have a side hustle I spend 6 to 8 hours a week on. Not to mention I'd have to leave my girlfriend and our pets for a few days. I feel like she's trying to manipulate me into staying, especially considering before she left, she was trying to pressure me to stay there. But on the other hand, I'm worried about her dog and my grandfather being alone for 4 days. So, would I be the asshole if I refused to watch my mom's dog because she asked me after going on vacation?
No.
No.
But if you're worried about...
Definitely not.
Why does no one care about the grandpa?
I mean, that is a big question, the way this is written. This is written heavy about the dog, and
if you have legitimate concerns about your grandpa, that might make you an asshole, but
what's weird is she's not asking, can you go over and take care of your grandfather? Right. The question is, can you take care of the dog? The dog
is more... This chair is so squeaky.
But, is it implied?
No. No. I guess, because the dog... Maybe the grandfather is, pretty self-sufficient.
Or maybe. That was funny, though. I did enjoy that one.
That one was easy.
Yeah. I didn't think the ones I ever found are super hard to determine whether or not they're the asshole, but... This is another topical one. To set up why it's topical for us... There is an event happening. I forget who it is. My mom said that she is not going because she did not.
Oh, yeah.
Get an invite in person. She had a Facebook invitation.
It's someone's graduation party.
Yes. This is another would I be? Would I be the asshole for missing my cousin's wedding because she didn't send me my own invitation? This is petty, to be honest, but I'll give some backstory. So maybe it will make a little more sense. So I, 26-year-old female, have a large extended family, 10 cousins, most of whom have multiple kids, now large. Despite being one of the oldest, third, I'm still kind of treated like a child. I believe this because my family has a habit of having kids pretty young, i.e. lots of teen moms, and even those who plan for children have had them in their early 20s. And I'm child-free. It irks me since I've always been pretty independent, and now that I'm approaching my late 20s and have been living on my own for nearly 6 years, you'd think I'd get a little respect as an adult. But apparently not. So I live about 3 hours away from where the rest of my family does, and I have been planning for months to visit for the Pride Parade held there. I live in a big city, and the one they do here is just too hectic, so I prefer to go to that one. Well, I messaged my mom today asking when she's free so I can figure out a good time to visit with her and my siblings. She tells me not to worry about seeing just them, that we'll be able to spend plenty of time together at Cousin's, female 22, wedding on Saturday. Cue confession. I didn't know Cousin was getting married this weekend, but I didn't get any kind of invitation. I tell her that, and she's also confused because there's no reason Cousin wouldn't have invited me. I tell her it's no big deal anyways because I already have plans for that day. Well, I guess she mentioned something to Aunt, Cousin's mom, because she messaged me a few hours ago to tell me that I was invited, that I was on my mom's invitation as "and kids." I tell her that that's too bad, because I already have plans for the night, and that if they had really wanted me to go, they should have sent me my own invitation. I'm an adult, and I live 3 hours away, so of course my mom isn't going to think I'm included in her and kids invitation. I wasn't going to change my plans on a dime because of their short-sightedness. Well, apparently that makes me an asshole. I've been getting messages from family left and right telling me I should skip the parade, that cousin's wedding is more important because it's a one-time thing. But they do the parade every year. I haven't prepared to go to a wedding at all, and I'm not very close to the part of that family. They are ultra-religious. I'm pretty sure cousin herself doesn't even care if I'm there or not. So, Reddit, would I be the asshole if I didn't go?
Well, you weren't invited.
Well, according to her aunt, she was.
That sounds like a cover-up. But then why didn't the mom say something? Why wasn't the mom like, oh, didn't you get so-and-so's invitation?
What do you mean?
Like, if the mom gets a cousin's thing, like when you said, like, oh, your cousin got engaged, did you get your wedding invitation? Like, why wouldn't you? Why didn't they talk about it?
Well, she probably just assumed. That's why she said, like, oh, you don't have to worry about just seeing us. We'll hang out with everybody at the wedding.
But it's just weird that it never came up. It's such a big deal that she's not going, but it never came up before.
Well, I'm wondering if it's not a big deal. Does she say it's a big deal to her mother?
No, not really.
So I don't think it is. I've been getting messages from family left and right. I feel like it's not her mom. Because the way this is worded, her mom is probably also in the same boat of, like, this woman is 26 years old and lives 3 hours away. Why would she be and kids on my invitation? This is a grown adult woman who lives in her own house.
If it was addressed to, like, her parents and then her at her parents' address, then maybe you're the asshole. But if you're just lumped in as and kids, no. I mean, it's kind of shitty.
Well, also,
but
I think even if your name was on it, that's still bullshit.
But, like, maybe they don't have your... Do they not have your address?
They ask for it.
Or...
You've all got phones.
Yeah.
Ask the mom, ask her yourself. Like, that would be like... if you and I got married now and sent Jacob's invitation to... Like, he was roped in with my parents.
Yeah.
Like, that wouldn't make sense.
No. Because then she's also then not allowed to bring a +1.
Or, like, if we got married now, or even when we got married. It'd be like if when we got married, Connor and Lexi and Shannon's invitation...
Right, went to Bob and Deb.
...was roped in with Bob and Deb. Like, it was just Bob and Deb and kids. Like,
now, if you live there, that's a little different.
That's my point, is they don't live there.
Yeah.
They live in their own separate dwellings. That's why they got their own invitations.
Yeah.
Like,
but
if
even
you
then,
live in a different home, you get a different invitation.
But even if they don't, if they're
like, if they lived, like, if Connor would have lived at home, I would have addressed it. Like, he would have been addressed. It wouldn't have just said, like...
Or, like, 2 invitations in one. Because, like, obviously, you can bring a date.
Yeah.
But if you're just lumped in as and kids, then you don't get to bring a +1.
Yeah, that's wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, like, I see why the family's like, oh, I can't believe you're not coming, but, like, it's warranted.
I definitely forgot to do the timer, so I have no idea how long we've been recording. And it really bothers me. I didn't read this. I really wish I would have, but the title is hysterical. Am I the asshole for asking for money for a replacement vibrator because my boyfriend's brother's dog ate it?
Yuck.
Context. His brother frequently travels for work, so my boyfriend keeps the dog during the week when the brother is out of town. So the brother was not in town at the time of the incident, nor is he aware of the incident. My boyfriend and I had been dating for less than a month at the time. Jesus Christ. I was visiting... That's not what I was expecting this to start out with. I was visiting his house for the first time, where I also met his dog for the first time. I was staying over for a few days and had brought a backpack with a bunch of my stuff in it, including a vibrator at the bottom of the bag. The dog was left alone in the room with my unzipped backpack. Note, the vibrator was still at the bottom of the bag and not easily accessible. We are thinking she dug through my bag and thought it was a toy because it was covered in silicone, which I guess she wasn't wrong about it being a toy, and essentially tore all the silicone off such that it was no longer usable. The vibrator retails for about $120, so I was a bit upset that it was destroyed. My boyfriend does not think he nor his brother should have to pay to replace the vibrator because he thinks I was careless. I have not had the conversation with the brother as I have never really met him and was wanting my boyfriend to do so, but he is unwilling. So am I the asshole for asking for the money to replace it? Frankly, I do not care if the money comes from him or his brother. I would just like to be able to replace it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Why weren't you watching the dog? Why did the dog have access to your backpack for long enough to dig through it? That's on you.
I'm trying to look at the comments. And what's weird is, like, no one is addressing whether or not she's the asshole. Like, this one is, I'm the asshole. I'm sorry, but I laughed out at this. OP said, it's okay. It's a very laughable incident. I find it funny and have made jokes about it several times since.
So then, why are you asking if you...
Dude, trust me, it's the exact same thing with kids. And actually, my kids are on the spectrum. You wouldn't believe the things I've gotten into. Turned my back the other day and my kiddo had picked up the drink I was drinking, poured it out on the floor and through the glass. And that's 100% on me for leaving a glass where he could get it. That's not his bed, it's mine. I knew he had access to the space.
Yeah.
Mine loves underwear. He'll dig through the laundry to get at underwear. And he's a miniature dachshund, so when he runs away with it, it's dragging beside him. Gross.
Well, I think she's the asshole.
So do I. And I don't know. Like,
You let the dog unattended. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. I don't know why your bag wasn't shut.
And, like, if there's a dog, you keep your bag off the floor.
Yeah.
Especially if you're carrying something around that's, like, valuable.
Yeah, and if it was such, like, $120, like, it was such a precious thing to you. Yeah, why weren't you more careful about it?
Or, like, okay, you have your bag on the floor, but, like, why did the dog have such, like, uninterrupted access?
Well, it is a weird thing, too, of, like, yeah, why is your shit just in this room?
With the dog.
With a dog? I'm guessing it's, like, a closed room.
So, like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Where was the other one? This one intrigued me. Am I the asshole for reminding my friend that she married for intelligence and look where it got her? This one really intrigued me. I, 35-year-old female, met my husband Vince.
Why did you put his name?
I don't care for the name Vince. 36-year-old male. After he saved me from drowning at a pool party when I was 18. I took him out for lunch the following week to thank him for saving me, and we soon fell in love and began dating. At the time, Vince worked a blue-collar job while I was studying in university. We ended up getting married, and Vince supported me throughout my entire education up until I got my PhD. Vince always told me that he wanted to study in university, but had learning disabilities that made it difficult for him to study in a classroom. At times, he was embarrassed by the fact that he had to work twice as hard compared to people around him, but I always found that to be admirable about him. When I finished my studies and got a well-paying job, I convinced Vince to give his dream of studying another go. Last year, he was finally accepted into a nursing program at our local university. He is working hard to achieve his dream, and I am incredibly proud of him. Last week, my friend Alba, 36-year-old female.
Why are you putting these people's names?
They could be different.
Maybe they changed.
They could be changed.
Yeah.
Came to visit with her son so our children could play together. Alba was my roommate during my first year in university. She began dating her husband Leo around the same time I started dating Vince. Leo was an obnoxious law student who later on became an even more obnoxious attorney. He was a know-it-all.
I think that's a class in law school.
He was a know-it-all who prided himself on his intelligence.
Oh,
which
not a young attorney.
Attracted Alba. At the time, Alba would sometimes tease me that I could do better than Vince, and would offer to set me up with one of Leo's law school buddies, but I would always refuse, and she eventually dropped the subject. Alba and Leo are currently going through a nasty divorce that stems from him cheating on her.
Ooh.
Quite frankly, he is dragging her through the mud and is using connections to try and leave her as penniless as possible.
Uh-huh.
As we were chatting and catching up, Alba began to express concern over the fact that my eldest son was recently diagnosed with dyslexia. Alba began telling me how she is worried that my son will be academically challenged like his father and what that could entail for his future.
Ew.
Before I could respond, she told me how I should have married someone smart while I had the chance so I would have kids like hers. Alba's son is an incredibly bright boy and a straight-A student. I told Alba her advice was unnecessary and reminded her where marrying for intelligence got her. I then proceeded to tell her that I would rather have my son grow up to be an honest, hard-working person like his father than an academically gifted jerk who wasn't smart enough to know sleeping with his secretary could have consequences on his marriage like her husband. Alba was deeply hurt by what I've said and stormed out with her son.
Okay.
Some mutual friends are now chiming in and telling me that I was too harsh on Alba for using her failing marriage to prove my point and should apologize.
Well, this woman came into this lady's house and said, your son is stupid like his dad.
Small update. First of all, I want to thank you all for your replies. I wanted to address a couple of things. Many of you asked why Alba and I remained friends despite her previous remarks. Alba and I grew apart during our third year in university. We only remained friends by association, since we have a lot of shared mutual friends. We became close again after our sons started playing basketball together at the local community center, and became friends. I figured that becoming a mother made her more mature, and she didn't give me any reason to suspect otherwise. I've decided to send her a message saying that the way she spoke about her husband and son was unacceptable, and therefore she is no longer welcomed in my home. However, I don't want our sons to lose their friendship, and therefore I'm willing to remain civil around the kids and still organize playdates. She didn't reply to me just yet, but I truly hope she loves her son enough to put her ego aside and remain civil for the sake of our kids. I've yet to notify Vince about this entire situation, since he is vigorously studying for an important quiz that's coming up next week. And I know, I shouldn't laugh at that, but it's so funny. And I know that if he heard what Alba said about him and our boy, it would make him upset, and he won't be able to continue studying properly. Unless something crazy happens in the meantime, I'll probably update him next week after he's done with the quiz.
I don't think she's the asshole.
Definitely not. Fuck that bitch.
She came into your home and said that about your son. She just lobbed that right up for you to spike it in her face.
Well, she starts out years prior.
Yeah.
With, like, you could do so much better than this fucking dipshit. Like, what are you doing, girl?
Yeah. And then... That's your chair. I thought something fell.
Yeah, and then you're going to come in like...
Oh, I'm worried that
your son's also a dipshit.
I'm worried that your dyslexic son's going to be stupid like his dad. Yeah. I'm worried that your son's going to be an asshole like his dad. Your son is dyslexic, which means, more than likely, he's going to be an absolute dipshit like his dipshit father. You should have married a smart man so you'd have smart kids like my son over there. Yeah, and then they'd be fatherless.
The proper response is, yeah, and your fucking intelligent-ass husband cheated on you with his secretary, and now he's trying to divorce you and take you for everything you've got.
Like, maybe it was too much. Like, maybe it was too far. But, like, no one faults you because she insulted you.
Okay.
Like, you didn't just come out and she didn't say, like, oh, I'm so sad I'm getting divorced. And you're like, well, maybe you shouldn't have married such a asshole smarty pants. Like, she had already said, like, maybe you shouldn't have married a dummy. And now you're basically just saying, why didn't you turn that back around on yourself?
Okay. Can I just say that intelligence doesn't have anything to do with dyslexia? That incredibly intelligent people can have it. And they can also have other learning disorders or be kinetic learners. Because of her to say that your husband isn't intelligent, it's just a level of assholery that's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, she never said her husband's stupid. She said he has learning disabilities that make college difficult.
Having an education versus no education is also not a measure of intelligence. Trust me, I have a PhD too. I also know a lot of brilliant people without college diplomas. Now that my rant is over, not the asshole, and while certainly you should be concerned if your child has a learning disability and pursue support for him, that doesn't make him stupid or otherwise lacking. Wild. What a wild thing to say to somebody.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if there's any better replies. But there's not a lot of IQ conversations happening.
Yeah.
In the credits. Where are you? That was this one. Let's maybe do one more.
That was a doozy.
That was a lot.
I mean, it was easy to say, no, you're not the asshole. But that was a doozy of a story.
2, 3, 4. So I've got 5 left. I will let you choose. We might do 1, maybe 2, depending on how long it takes me. So, am I the asshole for telling my stepdaughter she can have her dead dad pay for the wedding?
No.
Am I the asshole for telling my cousin that she is no longer allowed to be a bridesmaid in my wedding? Oh, we're going to do that one. Because I forgot how topical that one was. Not fully topical, but close. And you'll know why when I get to the end of the headline. Uh-oh. Am I the asshole for telling my cousin that she is no longer allowed to be a bridesmaid in my wedding because she wants to bring her boyfriend, who is my ex,
hey!
and I don't want him there?
Oh, wait.
My cousin is currently dating my ex, with whom I ended things amicably. Although I no longer have feelings for him, I do not want him at my wedding, a day that is incredibly important to me. I do not want him there to potentially overshadow the happiness of the occasion. Additionally, their relationship is still quite new, and I worry that if they break up, my cousin will be glad that he is not in any of the photos. When my cousin brought up the issue of bringing her boyfriend as a +1, I told her that she could not bring him. She became upset and tried to argue her case. Feeling frustrated, I finally told her that if she insisted on having him there, then I would rather she not be there at all. Now she is angry with me. I understand where my cousin is coming from, but I feel that she is not considering my feelings and the feelings of my own partner, whom I also have to consider when planning wedding. Am I in the wrong for standing my ground on this issue?
No. No. You're paying a lot of fucking money for her to be there.
Yeah.
So if you don't want that guy there, then he doesn't come.
Yeah.
You're the bride.
Not the asshole. You're wedding.
And she didn't uninvite her immediately. She just said, please don't bring him.
Well, she never really uninvited her. She just said, like, if you insist on him being there, then I would rather neither of you be there.
Right.
Not the asshole. Your wedding, your guest list. End of discussion. I am curious, though, as to how on earth could an ex that you say you parted with amicably possibly overshadow your happiness on the day that you marry someone you are completely in love with?
Because you don't want to have to look at him.
Or is it your fiancé who was bothered by an ex being in attendance? OP said, I shouldn't have used the word overshadow. It's not the right word. I just meant that my wedding day will possibly be one of the biggest moments in my partner and my life. And I don't want to be reminded of my ex being there. Even though we ended amicably, we still have a lot of history, and I find it personally uncomfortable to remain friends with someone I've had a sexual/intimate relationship with.
Nobody wants... Okay, well... I was about to say nobody wants their ex-boyfriend at their wedding.
Your ex-boyfriend was my best man.
Yeah, but that does not count. We dated in high school. He's also married to one of my best friends. So he doesn't count at all. But we were also, we did remain friends, clearly.
So this person asked, how long were you and the ex together? How long ago did you break up?
None of that matters.
How long ago did you break up? And how long have the cousin and the ex been dating? OP responded, around 3.5 years together.
Ooh.
3 years broken up. And they've been dating for around 4 months. And this person replied, yeah, not the asshole. Cousin does not need to bring that new of a boyfriend to your wedding. If you had dated an ex for 4 months 10 years ago and cousin was dating ex for 3.5 years, it'd be a totally different story.
Okay, so I can see why they were asking.
Yeah.
Still, so that may have been the ex she had just before the guy or girl that she's marrying. Which could be weird.
That's why I thought that was funny. Since your ex-boyfriend was the best man at our wedding.
You know. He's a good guy.
So we've got, am I the asshole for telling my stepdaughter she can have her dead dad pay for the wedding? Am I the asshole for refusing to look out for my brother and keep him out of trouble? Am I the asshole for telling my friend to stop saying, I almost died, as an excuse? Or am I the asshole, my stepdaughter's daughter mentioned me in her graduation speech and not my stepdaughter?
Why would that make him the asshole?
Is that what do you want to do that one? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm really intrigued by the dead dad thing, but I don't want... That guy's the asshole. I want to do the dead dad.
Right, that's his other wife. Edit, she is 27 right now. I may have gone too far. My now wife divorced her ex when her 3 kids were young. He was an addict. She met me a few years later, and we dated for 2 years before she introduced me to her kids. 2 kids really hit it off, and Kelly did not like me.
Yeah.
Just passive-aggressive stuff, but it became much worse when her dad passed away. She did not take it well and resulted in a lot of outbursts. I wasn't living there at this time. She went into therapy, but overall didn't seem like it helped. She threatens to run away if I married their mom, so I stayed away but continued to date their mom. Over time, the 2 other kids started to stay at my place in order to get away from the drama. It was a rough time for them, and we bonded even more. When Kelly was 18, the 2 of us decided to stop putting our life on hold and get married. Kelly hated this. The other kids were happy, though. There's like a ton of weird typos in this. That sentence is legitimately written. The other kids were happy, though.
Oh.
Every interaction I have had with her has been unpleasant, and I don't not see her or one of my kids.
I don't not see her as one of my kids.
I'm aware that's what it's supposed to say.
Yeah, it's clunky.
I eventually adopted her siblings when they were 16 and 17. They asked me. During that time, she destroyed a lot of her siblings' stuff for betraying their dad. Now I rarely see her, and I prefer it that way. The two kids have a on-and-off relationship. On and off relationship, I'm guessing, is what it's supposed to say. I paid for my 2 kids' wedding. I got a call from her asking me to pay for her wedding since I paid for the other 2. I told her no. This started an argument about how it's unfair. I had enough and told her to have her dad pay for the wedding. She hung up after some lovely names. I may have gone too far, which makes me a jerk.
Maybe, but she's also an asshole for asking you.
Yeah, it was a stupid, hurtful, and immature thing to say, but I get it. I understand this was the oldest girl and probably closest to her father, and of course, she probably resented the divorce, but that's something you should grow out of. Once her father died, you'd think it might have opened up her heart a little, but apparently that was not to be, so be it. It's her life, it's her choice. but it takes a lot of balls to then come skipping back and wanting you to pay for her wedding. I don't blame you for refusing, but I am curious as to what your wife thinks.
Yeah.
A big not the asshole on paying for the wedding. A tiny you're the asshole on the comment, but a big not the asshole on not paying for the wedding.
Yeah. So he didn't say have your dead dad pay. He just said have your dad
have
pay,
your dad
knowing
pay,
he's dead.
Implying, like...
yeah. Which kind of...
Why don't you have your dead dad pay for it, you bitch?
But that's just... But yeah, I would be interested to know, because the mom is their mom.
Yeah.
So, like, what does she think? But, I mean, if she was giving the stepdad that much shit, she must have been giving the mom shit, too.
I don't know what ESH means.
ESH?
Yeah.
What's the context?
ESH. You were in the right to say no. You'd have been in the right to say, because I pay for my kids' weddings. But taking a swing at her dead dad was a bit too far. Yep, everything up until that jab was NTA, which is not the asshole. But OP lost it, so ESH. I don't know what ESH means. I wonder if I can look it up. I'm sure I can.
ESH. Everyone sucks here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that makes sense.
It originated in Reddit. Am I the asshole?
Wow, wow, and you think you're a good guy when you say something so reprehensible. You really are a Class A, the asshole, all the way through. I would love your stepdaughter's opinion of what you're really like.
I mean...
He replied to some other comment that has since been removed, and he said, I'm not going to lie, it felt so nice to finally throw it back after years of dealing with it. And that's what that, you're a Class A asshole, reply was to. Everybody sucks here. Kelly obviously took it too far by practically forbidding her mom from moving on and for punishing her siblings for deciding to bond with you.
Yeah.
But still, having a dead parent is something traumatic, and you bringing it up just to make a point in an argument is really low. To which he replied, fair, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows. Like, that's not a great thing to say, but I don't think you should pay for her wedding. She made her bed.
My whole thing, though, is... Because I'm the kind of person that would do the exact same thing this guy did. I would do the exact same thing this guy did. But I would do it because, at least the way all of this is worded... Like, she's now 27 years old. He adopted the other two kids at 16 and 17. And it almost seems like she's not really involved.
Right, because she doesn't like him.
Now I rarely see her, and I prefer it that way. The two kids have an on and off relationship.
Yeah.
So it seems like she's not really around either.
Right.
So at this point, yes, you are my stepdaughter, but also you're a grown woman who, like, threatened when you were younger to run away if your mom married me. We waited till you were 18 to finally say, fuck it, and get married.
Yeah.
I adopted your siblings because they asked me to adopt them. You are the only person in the situation, even with having gone to therapy.
Yeah.
Has not moved on.
Or just...
And then after being a total bitch...
Right, now you're gonna...
Have the audacity to come back and go, can you pay for my wedding because you paid for their wedding? And it's not fair because you paid for their wedding, but you won't pay for mine. It's like...
Maybe, like, you could have at least just asked for help. Like, oh, I'm getting married. Like, is there any way that you could help? Yeah, it's not it's not a great scenario all around, but he definitely should not pay for that wedding.
We'll end with this one because this is legal advice, but it's a weird one. A little potent because I work on pools in the summertime. Tenant wants an above ground pool. I have a duplex, top and bottom. The tenant recently asked if he could have an above ground pool. The yard is shared with basement tenants. My main concern is possibly exposing myself to potential drowning lawsuits or injury liabilities. Wondering if I should just say no or allow them to add an above ground pool.
Are there kids?
He didn't say. This person replied, get a quote for what it'll cost you to insure the property against water damage and liability for your tenant's pool, and for what it'll cost to restore the lawn afterwards. I suspect you won't need legal advice after you see those numbers. And someone replied, legit, just jump to the hard no, but offer a here's why. There is more to the liability than worrying about someone drowning. Pools are inherently dangerous in multiple ways, and your insurance company likely will have something to say about you having one in your yard. Your best bet here is to just say no. OP responded, you are probably right. Does it change anything if it's a temporary above-ground pool for the summer, or same story? To which that person replied, same story. Unless it's a kiddie wading pool, it's going to be a problem. And even the kiddie pool will kill your grass if it's left out too long. Just say no and avoid all the problems.
Yeah. Because, like, before drowning, I would be worried about if you've got basement tenants, what happens if that pool just collapses and all that water goes in your basement?
What's weird to me... So it makes more sense that it is a temporary, like one of those pop-up pool things. But what's so strange to me is that you're a renter in a duplex. You share a yard with the lower person.
Right.
But then you're going to ask the landlord, like, can I put a pool back there?
Maybe they already talked to the downstairs neighbor and they're...
Yeah, but then you would have thought, like, collectively they would have come to the landlord. And said, like, we've talked about it.
Maybe the downstairs guy's like, I don't want anything to do with it, but I don't have a problem if it goes up.
But you think, again, that would have been brought up. Because that would have been as a landlord, that would have been my first thought was like, no, because this is a shared space. So, like, unless, like, if I was the landlord and you came to me immediately with us and downstairs would like to put a pool up in the back, then I would assess differently this logic of thinking of, like, liability, dead grass, all that stuff. But if you're just coming to me by yourself and saying, hey, we'd like to put up a pool for the kids, or whatever, my immediate thought would be like, no, because you share this space with somebody else.
Yeah.
This is not just your space.
Maybe it's a big enough yard.
I don't know.
It's always no. It's all liability. A pool, a trampoline. I definitely would never want a trampoline. You can get something called a trampoline fracture just by jumping on it.
What?
Yeah. I guess it's like, you know when kids like double jump?
Yeah.
Like when you come down, like, and your like knees give out, somewhere in there you get a fracture. And like whatever part of your body it is, this fracture was so common that they call it a trampoline fracture.
All right, folks. Well, that was fun.
We had all no assholes.
Yeah. We had one that was a little touch and go. That guy at the end there was a bit...
Well, but they were all clear. They were easy to distinguish.
That's what I meant. I think the last one was a bit.
Last time
I definitively think he's not the asshole, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think he's the asshole. I think his comment was too far.
I also don't agree with the everyone sucks here. Because again, and I'm only going off the context presented. I'm not trying to read deeper. I'm not trying to think like, oh, well, what about this perspective? I am going straight off of what I read. And the way I read it is she is now a grown-ass woman who has, over the years, decided to distance herself further and further away from the family.
Yeah.
And now you're essentially a stranger coming and asking for money to pay for your wedding. Like, no.
Yeah. I thought you meant the last round that we did.
And it said, like, I said no, and there was an argument. So he didn't immediately come out with, like, why don't you have your fucking dead dad pay for it?
Well, and he's got, like...
He said no. I'm sure she got real vitriolic with him, and that's not fair, and, like, I'm sure she went off on him and drove him to the point of being like, why don't you have your dad pay for it?
Yeah.
That's the way it read to me, because that's how I would have reacted.
Probably years of pent up.
Exactly, that's what he said. Like, that one reply comment that said, like, I'm not gonna lie, it felt nice after all this time to finally, like, stick it back to her. Like, fuck you.
And, like, maybe that, I think that his ending comment did go too far, but I wouldn't go so far as to say he's the asshole.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it, and like I said, I'm looking at it as, because I'm not even looking at it as his last comment went too far. Because, again, the way it is presented, to me, that seems like it is years of built-up aggression and animosity that is then, like, can you pay for my... No, and then you're just coming at me, that it's just leading... The pot just finally boiled over.
Yeah.
I get it. Happens.
Yeah. When it all boils down to it, I think he knows that last comment was a bit much.
Yeah.
But, like, overall, you're not the asshole. She is.
Well, and again, like we said, too, he didn't say, have your dead dad... Yeah. Like, all he said was, why don't you have your dad pay for it? Yes, the dad is dead. It is implied that...
Yeah, like, but it would have been worse.
Have your dead dad pay for it. But he didn't flat out, like...
Yeah.
He just said, why don't you have your dad pay for it? He didn't come out with, like, why don't you have your dead dad pay for it? Like, it was... I don't know. It's a matter of verbiage, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like that new Clipped. There was a... For those of you that aren't aware, FX is coming out with this show about the Clippers scandal and controversy, and it's called Clipped. Paul Scheer was on the Rich Eisen show, and Paul Scheer is from LA, big Clippers fan. They talked about it, and Paul Scheer's like, I already don't like this. Like, the Clippers have had such bad press and such, like, oh, there's so many things going against the Clippers always. Like, we don't need this. Like, it was this whole thing. And I comment, and I'm like, no one else has said it, and maybe it's not as big a deal as I think it is, but when you watch the trailer, the show is called Clipped, and the tagline is, the scandalous story of LA's other basketball team. To me, that feels like a dig. Like, they are referred to as LA's other basketball team, which still also kind of feels like a dig of, like, you're just the fucking B team? Like... But just the subtitle of, like, this scandalous story of LA's other basketball team just sounds like a weird, like, fuck you. Fuck you, Clippers.
Pretty much.
Like, that screams to me like, the guy who wrote this is a Lakers fan. Like, 100%. The showrunner of the show is a Lakers fan. That's why they were like, fuck you. Like, this scandalous story of LA's other basketball team.
Well, we'll have to watch it and see.
It looks wild. I want to watch it so bad.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, really I love Ed O'Neill. I love Lawrence Fishburne. Great fucking cast. But, like, Ed O'Neill looks so good in this role.
I just feel like it's going to be so much fun.
I think he's an underrated actor.
Yeah.
Because I think Married with Children was very different from Modern Family.
Not his role.
I think it was. Like, when you actually watch how he was on Married with Children and how he was on Modern Family, it's two very different characters.
Okay.
And then I think this character looks very different from these two altogether.
Well, and don't forget he did the voice of the octopus in Finding Nemo, too.
Which was fantastic. Best role in that whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie was stolen by other actors.
Definitely.
Did I give a shit about Dory? Not really. Did I give a shit about Marlin? No. Nemo? No. Did I care about Ed O'Neill as the octopus? Absolutely. Did I care about Ty Burrell as the whale?
Mm-hmm. The blind one.
No.
Oh, that was... What's her name?
Caitlin Olsen.
The one with the weird sonar.
Caitlin Olsen is the blind dolphin?
No, she's a whale. She's a beluga whale.
Is he a dolphin?
No, he's a big whale.
No, he's not big. He's got that weird, like, giant fucking bubble thing on his head. That's the kind of animal Ty Burrell is.
Yeah, because he's blind.
But isn't that a dolphin?
No, it's a whale. Which one is... What's her name?
Caitlin Olsen?
Yeah.
She's a whale. Caitlin Olsen is a whale. What did you look up?
Oh, it's not going to show me. I needed to give me their, like... a picture of who they played.
Okay, well, so Bailey is Ty Burrell's character's name. Bailey the whale.
Yeah. Oh, he's the beluga whale. Then which one's Caitlin Olsen?
Caitlin Olsen is Destiny.
Yeah, was it also a whale?
Whale shark.
Ah, that's why. Yep.
Real wide.
Uh-huh.
With the eyes. Like
Yeah.
That's Caitlin Olsen. Who else was in that movie? I feel like there was somebody else in that movie that like stole it. Because I think the whole supporting cast steals that.
Isn't
movie.
Diane Keaton the mom?
Diane Keaton and
eyebrows.
Eugene Levy. There it is. I'm like Levy is his name. Eugene Levy. Is it Diane Keaton?
Mm-hmm. Or is it Allison Janney?
It's not Allison Janney.
Oh,
You're probably right. I was thinking like Kathy and Jimmy or something.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Diane Keaton.
Caitlin Olsen. Yep, Diane Keaton. Idris Elba? Forgot he was in that movie. Kate McKinnon? Bill Hader? Idris Elba, I'm pretty sure, is the one seal.
I don't remember. I haven't watched that movie.
You know what I'm talking about, though? The two seals that are on the rock?
Yeah.
And they just, like, cut back to them, and I'm sure they get hit by something at the end of the movie. Something flying off the bridge, like, hits them in the face. And they keep yelling at Jerry?
I'm telling you, I don't remember.
The clearly mentally challenged seal in the water? I'm pretty sure his name's Jerry.
I don't know.
But great.
I think I watched that one maybe once. Tony never wants to watch it.
Which is so weird. Well, he hasn't watched Finding Nemo either.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He wants to watch Finding Nemo but not Finding Dory?
We've watched Finding Nemo.
You've watched Finding Dory, too.
Maybe Finding Dory is just always up. And
we've seen it, but that's my point. It's like, have you tried to put on Finding Nemo? And he's like, hell yeah. And then you try to put on Finding Dory, and he's like, fuck no, hard pass.
Well, he won't watch Finding Nemo now because of the shark.
Bruce? Why? Fish are friends, not food.
He went on the ride, and now he's got shark phobia. I'm like, same kid. I get it. We're not watching that one then.
But yours is because you watched Jaws too young.
I don't think that's the case.
That is the case. You watch Jaws too young and you're afraid of sharks.
I mean, I'm terrified.
Meanwhile, he went on the Finding Nemo. He watched the movie Finding Nemo, had no problem with it, and then he went on the ride and is like, nope, I'm done.
He's like, and for that reason, I'm out.
Finding Dory is the better movie.
He's not afraid of spiders, though. And he gives zero shits about my fear of spiders.
No, not at all.
Because there's a spider on here. Well, call Daddy. Just get it. It won't bite you.
Mm-hmm. We were in the mountains, and there was that one on the chair. He's like, just get it.
And I'm like, no. This is a hill I will die on.
I'm like, nothing screams my child to me in terms of our dynamic than you complaining about a bug, and Tony is like, just get it.
There was a big one out in his toy box. And I'm like, we gotta, Daddy's in the shower. We gotta wait for him to get out of the shower so he come out with the spray. And he's like, why don't you just kill it? I'm like, well, I can't touch it. It's too big. Well, it's not gonna bite you. Why can't you just touch it so I can get in there? I'm like,
he's like, bitch, just kill the fucking thing.
No, I'm like, so now he was back there and a daddy longlegger landed on him. I was like, what is it? He's like, a big spider, real big spider. I'm like, well, where is it now? I don't know.
Well, bugs being on him is different.
No, he killed it himself. He was very proud of himself. Yeah. But I'm like, I didn't realize what it was. So I'm thinking he's got a honking spider on himself because Robin had one on his foot the other day. I just stomped on his foot.
Unbelievable. That poor kid.
He didn't know. He just ran away.
That poor kid. Tony is also like me in the sense of his aversion to bees. I hate bees.
Hate bees. He does.
Now, I've gotten, like, not used to, but, like, the carpenter bees don't bother me.
Because I know they're not going to sting.
I know if you just keep walking, they just fucking disperse and it's whatever. They still, like...
I don't like when they fly at my head.
Well, because out there, they were going fucking wild for a month, and I have no idea why. But it's like two of them chasing each other, and you're walking, and if they're just here lingering, they disperse. But when it's like the fucking two of them chasing each other, they just whoom, like right past your face, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people have seen me and think I'm an absolute lunatic.
No, me too.
Because there's bees out back. And the second I hear it, I'm immediately like... Like, I spin, my hands are up. Like, you would think that, like, I'm being assaulted. Like, it's aggressive the way I react to hearing bees.
I don't like bees.
It's the sound. They're so loud.
Yes. But I don't like those big the hornets.
I don't like any of them.
The other ones I can shoo away myself, but the hornets...
I don't like any of them.
I just go out with a shoe.
There was that one or two in the house, and they're fucking huge. And I'm like, how? How are you in here? And why are you so big?
Yeah, but once they're in here, they're just dead.
I'm aware, but they're fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get out of here.
Those I can scoop up with the...
I got kids in here. Get the fuck out of here.
I can scoop them up with the vacuum. We're good to go.
Yeah, just make a nest in your vacuum.
Who cares? No, I think they die.
They don't. There was a news story on Facebook about
the flying spiders.
Yeah, coming to northeast or the northeast of.
So I saw New York and Maryland. If
those are very separate states.
If a flying spider,
well, they're not harmful to.
I don't give a shit.
Humans or pets.
I don't give a shit.
They're yellow,
and they're huge.
They have like 4-inch long legs, something like that.
Yes.
Now here's my confusion. The thing I saw said about them being like they're flying because they can jump.
But it's their webbies.
But then I saw
they're like Spider-Man.
But here's my thing. The way it was worded, I got confused. Is the webbing coming out of where it normally comes out of, or does it come out of the legs?
I don't know.
Because the thing I saw said about like, oh, they have 4-inch long legs, and then something about like, however it was worded about them like being able to sail across whatever because of the webbing. But the way it was worded almost made it seem like the webbing comes out of the legs. And I'm like, I feel like that's not possible.
Comes out of their butt, doesn't it?
Yeah. But the way that was worded
maybe it does.
Was worded as if like,
hold it.
Like it's legit. Like you're just fucking Spider-Man and the shit out of this thing.
I can tell you, if I see one of those, I'm quitting my job and never leaving this house. If there's even a whisper that one is seen in this area, nope.
They're like murder hornets. They're not real.
That's what I was wondering.
They'll be seen in one place. And oh my god, they're invading the country. They're a big to-do. Go get your bread and your milk. Don't leave your homes. There's murder hornets on the loose.
Even though, like, the
police are dispersing now to deal with it.
But, like, even though the murder hornets weren't going to murder us.
Then you've got 15 people that are like, don't hurt the bees. The bees are good. Murder hornets are fine.
I'll leave all the other bees
go.
Good
for the environment. Just leave them alone.
I now know what the honeybees...
Fuck them.
I know what the honeybees look like really well. I leave those. I don't even shush them. I just let them be.
I don't leave any of them.
There was one on Tony's sprinkler. I just let it go. It was just hot.
If you're at a distance and you stay at that distance, fine.
I don't think honeybees can sting.
I don't know. I'm out back trying to grill, and bees just seem to be in my business. And I'm like, get the fuck out.
Yellow jackets, I will euthanize.
Hate them.
I'll find a spray to kill on contact.
I was working on a pool that one time. There was a fucking wood bee. All up in my shit. There's not wood anywhere near me. Concrete and fucking plastic all around.
That's why he's there. He's just hoping.
All over the place. And I'm like, bro, fuck off. Get out of here. I'm trying to work.
You think once you swat them, they would just go?
You would think that, but they don't. I made contact with them with objects. It's fucking like,
my favorite thing
later, here they come.
My favorite thing is when they were out front and I would just go out and whack it with something. The kneelers are my favorite. And then Tony would just be like, oh, you hit him. I'm like, yeah, now go step on it.
We were at a job the one time Kevin had a piece of pipe. A trash piece. Wasn't very long. This thing was fucking bothering the shit out of us. We're eating lunch. It's just fucking like lingering in the same spot. He fucking stood there with that pipe. Just fucking watched it. And watched it, and watched it, and then all of a sudden just fucking BAM! Like a goddamn baseball bat. Just fucking.
It doesn't kill him, though.
And that sumbitch flew. Home run.
Well, that might have killed him.
That was impressive. How did we get here?
Tony's intense fear of sharks.
That's right. That went from his fear of sharks to your fear of spiders. His nonplussed fear of his, like, I don't give a shit. Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Move on with your life. Grow up.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. It's a no for me.
Nothing's worse for me than, like, you're like, oh, come down here, quick. Or come up here, quick. Either upstairs or in the basement. And by the time I get there, it's over there. I'm like, where? There's nothing down here.
Like, well, you better find it.
And I look around like, there's nothing down here. There's nothing down here.
And you're like my dad. Oh, I killed it. I'm like,
no, I tell you.
I need to see confirmed kill.
You're like, did you get it? And I'm like, there's nothing down there.
Remember when I brought it?
And you're like, it's right here. And I'm like, come show me where it is. And you fucking point to the wall. And I'm like, there's nothing there. There is nothing anywhere near here.
Remember when there was that stack of Amazon packages out front?
Oh,
and I carried it in, and I set it down there. Just spider. I almost threw up. I
know.
Oh, I bolted up the stairs.
Sat there like, are you fucking kidding me?
I was so, like, my chest was closed. I'm like, I can't even breathe. That spider was touching me.
There was that one guy I follow on Instagram. That's I think he's British. It's just him, like, reacting to videos. There was one yesterday of him. It was Australian shit.
Oh, yeah.
One of them was a fucking kangaroo at this guy's window.
Mm-hmm.
Just, like, clawing at the window, and the guy goes over, like I do with fucking bugs, just, like, banging on the window, like, get out of here! And the fucking kangaroo just starts fucking chest bumping. And the guy doing commentary is like, your window's fucking gone. That glass is shattering. You can't tell me it's not. Well, then the latter end of the video was Australian spiders, which are a fucking nightmare.
No.
But one of them, I forget if the guy hit it. I don't think he hit it. But the guy filming it whatever. I don't know if he did anything. He might just move something. I forget what he does. The fucking thing, like, jumps towards the camera.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, my God, I commented. Like, the way I jumped when that fucking thing
I've seen that.
the camera. Oh, my God. I'm so mad, but I'm also laughing. I'm like, what are you doing?
Steve Irwin's son has a TikTok, and he has up, like...
The guy from Bluey?
Yeah. Only in Australia or whatever.
Yes.
And he does, like... And it's always, like, animals. Because the one, it was, like... I woke up this morning feeling like someone was watching me, and he like walks around his apartment, and there's a monkey in his bathroom.
Yeah.
The one that I just saw either today or yesterday, he like zooms in on his shoe, tarantula.
Yeah, there was another one in that video that I watched where the guy has it, and he's like banging the heel on the thing, and nothing's happening, and all of a sudden you see like the legs.
Ew.
And it came out of it like went. So if this was the heel, and here's the hole, it like came. It finally came down. He banged it. It like hit, and then it like went around the heel, and he was holding the toe, and he's like, just fucking like.
That's why.
And the guy doing commentary is like, Australia, I love you, but it's a hard pass. I don't think I'm ever coming down there. Like, beautiful place. I don't think you'll ever see me there.
No.
It's wild. When they like, I've always thought about it, but then they show you those videos, and it's like. That spider is the size of a fucking small dog, and I just can't.
No, I cannot.
I can't do it.
No.
Can't do it.
I would die. Just... My heart would explode.
I'm so mad about your fear of spiders, because there is a movie that you will never watch, and I will never subject you to watching it. It's called Eight-Legged Freaks. It is hysterical. It's hysterical. So the premise is, it is very much... It's modern, meaning it came out in the early 2000s.
I remember it.
It's what's his name? David Arquette.
Yeah.
Who? There's.
I think a long time ago I saw Arachnophobia.
I really want to see that. The one with John Goodman. I want to see that because
I think it was on TV.
Oh yeah, they used to. That was one of those.
An Anaconda.
It was like Shawshank, yeah, an Anaconda. It played on TBS, TNT, like those channels. Twister. Scarlett Johansson is in this movie. A young Scarlett Johansson. Came out in 2002. David Arquette, Scarlett Johansson, Dougie Doug. So it's essentially, I think, in the vein of like campy monster movies from like the 50s kind of deal, in the 60s.
Yeah, like The Blob.
Yeah, like that vein, but it's more modern. So it's a bit scarier? I don't know. But essentially there's a guy who owns like a spider farm. There's just a bunch of spiders in cages.
Yuck.
And you find out that the water he is giving the spiders is contaminated with nuclear waste.
Oh.
So then it just makes them grow like...
Ugh.
Literally gigantic. Like the size of cars and the size of houses. And then it's David Arquette is leading the town in a siege to like fight them and kill them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to watch that.
But there's a scene where they're in caves because it's an old mining.
Oh.
Spoiler alert: the movie ends with like they're in the cave, and as they're motorcycling out, they fucking light one of the things and just blow the whole cave up and.
Oh, all the spiders?
All the spiders. Well, the queen is in there.
Oh, gotcha.
So then it just kills all the ones that are in there.
Gross.
But I watched that movie quite a few times. I don't care for spiders, but that movie is very funny. The one guy's all concerned about the mall. Well, the mall's above the mine, so the mall explodes at the end of the movie. And he's the kind of the villain of the movie. The villain is the spiders, but he's kind of like the secondary, just like... real estate mogul. It's 2000.
He's the person villain.
It's 2002, so we needed like a weird real estate taking over a small town kind of guy.
Oh, gotcha.
But it also gives, because they're in a mall. They're in the mall for a good chunk of the movie, so it gives big like, I like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which the whole premise of that movie takes place in a mall. Like that's the central point of that movie. So it kind of gives off that similar vibe. But I don't know. I feel like not enough people I know have seen it. That is the horror camp equivalent to me of Death to Smoochie, where like not enough people have seen it for me to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's definitely one of those movies I bring it up. People are like, never heard of it.
I've heard of it, but it was one of those like, well, I definitely would not be watching that.
I definitely only watched it. I would guarantee you I only saw that movie
because of David Arquette.
Because David Arquette was in Ready to Rumble, and I love Ready to Rumble. Yeah. And I also like. No, he was in Scream. I'm like, was he in Scary Movie? No, he's in Scream. But I didn't see Scream till I was older.
I saw it once. The first one.
It's good. I like Scream. I don't remember. I've definitely seen... Did I watch the other ones? I've definitely seen maybe the second one. And then I watched like the fourth one. I think I saw like the first four.
I just saw
before they started like doing the weird reboots and shit. I don't know. But the first one is really good. I like the first one a lot. But that's all we've got for this week. Thank you for joining us. We will hopefully be putting out episodes at a bit more consistent pacing again because we will be
home
a bit more frequently. I'm planning on being off the Monday after the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Because I doubt we'll have time to, like, do 2 episodes at one time and edit it and all that shit. If we do, great. But I would venture to guess now there won't be an episode after the 4th of July. Because we'll be leaving...
the beach.
Yeah, we'll be leaving either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. And we record on, like, a Thursday or a Friday. We're not going to fucking record on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Yeah,
like, I'm not...
Yeah.
Because then I have to take everything with me and try to edit it down there, and it's just a big to-do. So anyways, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Follow us on social media. If you're listening to this, check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Do all that stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube. Yeah. We love you, and as always, thank you for being a friend.